Hi folks, Pat Healy here from the Laker News. We are presenting our candidates' interviews for Waverley-Fall River and Musquodoboit Valley. Incumbent Cathy Deagle Gammon, Chris Balcom, and Angela Dennison are vying to be the representative chosen in the October 19th HRM Municipal election. We wanted to give residents a chance to ask questions to the candidates that may help their decision-making process. We asked the community to submit your questions. We had a good response with some very good questions submitted that we narrowed down to the ones we're asking each of the three candidates. Thank you to Joanne Poulin, eXp Realty, for sponsoring these video interviews. Now, let's go see what they have to say. I'm with Waverley-Fall River-Musquodoboit Valley District 1 Council Candidate Chris Balcom. All right, let's introduce yourself to the community.
My name's Chris Balcom, born and raised in Fall River, the grandson of a longtime city councillor out of Fall River. I'm married, I have two young kids. We reside in Fall River, and I'm interested in being the next city councillor for this district.
All right, let's get into the questions. What is your opinion on working towards a public transit rail system from rural communities to the downtown core, and would you support it?
I would definitely support that idea. I believe it probably should have been followed through on 20 years ago when City Council looked at it and studied it. I believe it will most likely be slightly harder to do now, as CN has tore up most of the second track that goes from the suburbs into downtown Halifax. But I definitely think it should be studied, and if at all feasible, should be worked on by all levels of government, as it would severely alleviate the downtown traffic.
All right. What are the top three issues you believe homeowners in District 1 want to have addressed within the next 4 years? How do you plan to address them and resolve those issues?
I believe it depends where you go in the district. There are multiple issues. Out Musquodoboit Way, the issue is a lack of police service and crime, a growing drug problem. As you get closer to the city in Fall River and the greater Fall River area, Windsor Junction, Waverley, Wellington, the big issue is property tax and lack of services for the taxes that are being paid, as well as for multiple different subdivisions around Fall River. It is water and access to not only drinking water, but water in general. Wells are going dry, yet the city water pipe is within a kilometer of some people's houses.
Musquodoboit Valley, once a small community that flourished with businesses, farming, trades, etc. Lots of families are starting to move back. How will you, as a council candidate, help to draw businesses in to the community and maintain those for the residents?
I would like to speak to the residents in that area directly and the business owners in that area to see how they can grow the area. I don't know enough about Musquodoboit Valley to be the be-all, end-all to make decisions. I believe talking to the residents, getting their input is definitely required. Also, trying to tie them to this city. I've spent a substantial amount of time out there in the last couple of weeks, and they don't find themselves to be part of the HRM. It's too long a drive on bad roads to get to the city. You know, they need a better access to city dollars in order to grow that area.
With the continued growth happening in Fall River West, how do you plan on alleviating the traffic congestion at the intersection of Fall River Road and Highway 2?
The biggest issue with that intersection is there's only one way in and out of Fall River, and it's over a 2-lane bridge that at best could be widened to 3 lanes. I believe that the city needs to speak with Crombie REIT, which owns the Sobeys and all the land across the street from this intersection, to work at some way of redeveloping that intersection, and not just the intersection, but the entire, kilometer of road on Highway number 2, to widen it, to do whatever necessary to alleviate the left-hand turn straight issue. I have some ideas on what to do, but I'm not a traffic architect. My biggest idea would be to move the entrance to Sobeys from there and, add a boulevard to Fall River Road so people can't turn left up Fall River Road, then slam on their brakes and turn left into the Irving.
All right. Considering the rapid growth in our district and HRM in general, it is imperative to ensure that infrastructure, transportation, hospitals, and schools are adequately developed to meet the increasing demands. If elected, what will you do to attempt to stay ahead of this ongoing problem?
All of those things are provincial issues. The province is responsible for financing and building those types of things, such as schools and hospitals. I believe that City Council as a whole, and if not as a whole, at least the councillor of this district, needs to get ahead by speaking to the province and letting them know we are approving, hundreds of building permits a year for houses. Where do you expect these children to go? Right now, the schools in Fall River are full. The school in Waverley is full. The school in Holland Road is full. Yet hundreds more houses are being built in Fall River West and the surrounding area. Where are those children going to go to school? This is not a worry about it in a couple of year problem. This is needing to liaison with the province now and telling the province what to expect so that they can get ahead of it now. If it takes 4 or 5 years to have a school built, then you're already behind.
All right. What is your plans for additional recreation facilities for Fall River, like a hockey rink or additional baseball fields?
Fall River is quickly outgrowing the recreational facilities that exist here now. I had a conversation with someone the other day about a hockey rink. I think realistically, you're not going to see a hockey rink in Fall River in the next year or two. They're extremely expensive. That being said, I do believe that it's time for the city to start looking at land and putting land aside and making preparations for building another recreation facility such as the Gordon Snow Center, but larger, that can house a hockey rink or a swimming pool. A swimming pool is a massive want that I've heard from everyone, from people with small children all the way up to seniors in this community that don't want to have to go all the way to Sackville or Bedford to go to a swimming pool.
Okay. Is there any plan to bring more bus services to Fall River?
There definitely should be. I don't think that's something that should wait another few years. That is something that should be happening in the spring, at the latest. I don't think we need any more studies to decide whether or not a bus is required down here. I think expecting anyone to walk up the side of the 118 ramp to go to the current bus stop is lunacy. It is a dangerous hill in the summer. It is a horrible, impossible hill to walk in the winter. And it is 1.5 kilometers from the closest anything. In order to get there and use that, realistically, you need to own a car, and if you own a car, you're most likely driving downtown to begin with. I think a bus needs to come down to the center of Fall River, whether it's a bus stop or a bus station. We need to get bus service down here. I believe that the city made a mistake years ago when they sold the old rec center that was on Highway number 2. That would have made a perfect place for a bus station down here. Where you're going to put it now, I don't know. It's time for the city to start trying to figure something out. But they can't wait a whole lot longer. I think a bus coming down Highway number 2, going up Fall River Road through Windsor Junction to Cobequid Station should also be an option that's looked at.
Would you consider looking into the expansion of municipal water to more areas of Fall River?
100%. The water main going down Fall River Road was built oversized on purpose so that someday it could feed water to St. Andrews Village, Fall River Village, and Schwartzwald. I think that needs to be looked at sooner rather than later. People in Schwartzwald are already running out of water. People in St. Andrews West are already dry wells. The longer you wait, the more expensive this stuff gets. I think that water in Fall River is definitely the future. I question the foresight that some people have. We just paved Howe and Coach and Schwartzwald this year. Water pipes should have been put under the ground at that point, whether they're going to be hooked up or not, because the facts remain that within the next 10 years, Schwartzwald's going to need water. So one way or another, the water pipes are going to get there. I don't think we're looking far enough ahead as to the situation, but having water to have a bath, to bathe your children or to drink is a fundamental right. And I do not understand why we're not talking more about this issue.
What will be done to ensure the safety of residents who draw well water in Fall River Village? This is in regards to two developments and who will monitor the groundwater.
I think we're talking about the same situation. You have city water coming in Winley in the back end of Fall River Village. You have city water coming in Ingram from Cobblewood Road that a private developer put in. I 100% believe that Fall River Village should have city water. We shouldn't be having a conversation about wells and tainted well water in 2024 in Fall River. We should be talking about how to get these people city water. If there are water issues, then it should be on the city to make sure that people have drinking water in Fall River Village.
And summarize why you should be the one residents vote for.
I was born here. I was raised here. I left for years for work. I have been back here now for a decade. I raised my family here. I have zero plan on leaving here. I do not like photo ops. I do not like this interview. No offense, Pat. I do not like galas. I do not like fundraising events. I like working. I believe this district is growing so quickly, and it's at the size that it is. It requires someone that's willing to work 7 days a week, someone that's willing to get their hands dirty, and not waste time with bureaucracy. Try to find ways to make things quicker. I owned a business here. I know how hard it is to get a building permit. I know how hard it is to get business permits. This stuff should be easier and more streamlined, and it needs someone who's been in that type of situation that knows what the city needs as a whole. I don't think enough focus is put on the rural parts of the city. Fall River is not rural anymore. Fall River is suburban. But the other 3/4 of this district is rural, and I don't think that they feel their votes matter because they've told me that. And we need to make them feel like they're part of this city again to justify why they pay taxes to a place that they don't go to.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching our candidate interviews. We hope the answers provide a better idea on where the candidates stand with regards to issues and concerns in the community. Municipal politics is the one level of government that has such an impact on our lives. So it's important to make sure you get out and vote. Advance online and telephone voting is from October 8th to 16th, while advance in-person voting is October 12th and October 15th. For more information, check out the HRM elections page. Thank you to Joanne Poulin of eXp Realty for sponsoring this video interview. Pat Healy for the Laker News in Fall River.